Not Sold Separately is brought to you by Brooke
and Erika, two inseparable 20-somethings who haven't run out of things to talk about since 2001.
From little girls playing dress up to successful little sales reps, these two are ready to dish on dating,
Or lack thereof.
positivity,
Well, we try.
travel diaries,
Not without horror stories.
hot topics,
With hot takes.
and crawling up the corporate ladder.
Whether it's briefcases and stilettos or sweats and sneaks, this duo is sure to entertain,
We are here to remind you to take risks
build confidence,
and have fun because
it's just not that serious.
Welcome back to the Not Sold Separately podcast.
Today, you're going to go on a wild ride with us through the land of 51st dates.
Very bumpy road. Yes. Very bumpy ride.
Yes.
I actually did want to tell you that I watched the new Lindsay Lohan movie that you told me to watch. What was it called? Our Little Secret on Netflix.
Thank you for getting the name because I could not recall.
Yes.
To save
you're
myself.
welcome. Well, I only remember because I watched it last night. But it was so cute. Loved it. Recommend 10 out of 10.
Adorable.
But I think it's funny because my younger sister, Tara, brought up as we're watching it. She's like, why is it that every single movie, majority, right? There's a couple outliers. Mm-hmm. Every single movie promotes people going back to their ex. She's like, what the heck? Why?
Yes.
And as she said that, it clicked. I'm like, you're so right. And in that moment, I felt so validated. I'm like, this explains so much.
Because it's in our media and the content that we consume is like there's this culture around, well, like, yeah, going back to your ex or like going back to comfort, I think. And comfort doesn't always necessarily mean what's best for you. Right. It just means it's comfortable.
But in every single movie, it's what's best for them. Every single Hallmark, they go back to their hometown and they're like, oh my gosh, let's go back to the woodworker. And we're going to live happily ever after.
I think we're too deep into like Hallmark Christmas movies right now. And this is like, this shit needs to end.
It's too fairy tale.
I know. Well, unfortunately, we are living the harsh, cold reality of our mid-20s.
Right.
And what dating looks like during this time, which is absolutely hain de la hain.
Delane. No, it is heinous. And you know what? We've moved on, I feel, from like our like relationship era, and we're now in like our dating era.
Yes.
Like
intentional dating era.
Yes. Yeah. We're not going back to our ex.
So I just saw a video the other day, and like this is where you have to check in with yourself mentally to see if you are matured, if you have grown, if you've developed, or if you're still the same like toxic tendencies that you have still reemerge. And it was like, you know, come the new year, like 2025, in order to be more intentional about dating and finding someone and creating space for someone to come in to like be a good match for you, you have to not entertain or allow people from the past to come in. Right. And you have to kind of like, you can't prevent someone from coming in and like reaching out or contacting you.
But you can control how you react.
Precisely.
So I think it's always those little tests that they come back up to see, oh, have you grown? And that's why we always say that's on personal growth when we can like
except
have one
I
of those
fear
encounters.
I've not been experiencing much growth. I've been falling back into a lot of old patterns which do not serve me. But at least the key here is self-awareness, right? If I can acknowledge that it's toxic and it's not good for me, then I feel like I'm already one step ahead versus where I was maybe 3 years ago.
I 100% agree. And it's also, it's not linear, right? And it doesn't, it's not just like a black and white of, oh, if you don't answer someone who's reaching out to you, then you're better off. No. If you answer, whatever, do what you want to do. We can go into a whole tangent on this and I could write a whole life story on it, but I stand by
actually a memoir.
But you have to, reflect on where you're at personally with this situation, and if you reply or don't reply, how is that going to make you feel, and like how does it benefit you? That's always what I will go back to. So like check in with yourself with those little questions.
Yeah, Brooke always asks me that. She's like, so if you are to respond, or like what's your intention? What do you want to get out of it? If it's just that you want attention, or if it's just that it makes you feel good in the moment to like get that validation, then that's probably not good. That's probably not the end all be all, and you probably need to move along.
Yeah. But either way, if you're even able to recognize that, then that's showing that you're having some personal growth there, because you're not just reverting back to like your old,
ways.
You're back in the groove of like whatever your relationship was with that person. So anyway, but with our, past flings or relationships or whatever, something that the both of us have always had are code names.
Oh my God. You just, like, every single person I think that we've interacted with, like, for 2+ dates,
Yeah.
has received a code name.
Well, it's also, you receive a code name. You have to earn your real name.
Yes.
Genuinely, to this day, like, I don't know some of the people that Erika has dated. Like, I only know the code names. Like, she'll say someone, like, by their name at this point. She's like, oh, so-and-so, did XYZ.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, who? And then she'll be like,
Because they
oh,
strictly had a code name.
yeah. So I feel let's go over some code names. One that I know and love.
Yes.
One of your code names was Spider-Man. Yes. I love that one. And I don't actually know his real name. I really don't.
I didn't think you did.
No, I really don't. It's just Spider-Man to me. But the reason for that was because maybe your first date or one of your dates, you went to see a Spider-Man movie, right?
We did, yeah. So I was just like, something that happened that I was like, okay, I'll just use this as a code name.
Yeah.
They didn't look like Daniel Radcliffe or anything. I don't know. But didn't he play Spider-Man?
I don't know.
That
is not a question for me.
No, who was
I'm
most
not a
recently
Marvel.
Zendaya's boyfriend? Who is it that plays Spider-Man?
Tom Holland?
Yes.
I don't know where
Doesn't look
that
like
just
Tom
came
Holland,
from in my
but
brain.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
And your
Yeah.
celebrity A-list knowledge.
Thank you so much. I don't know where it came from.
But yeah, no, God, I'm trying to think of other ones.
I feel like I was notorious for like calling like an XYZ boyfriend. Like I would refer to everyone as my boyfriend, but like they would have different categories. So I would be like, not that I really have one, but like work boyfriend if I had a work boyfriend. Or like
yes.
my
You
California
categorized.
boyfriend.
Yes.
Like
oh, we know we love them.
There's always like, and whether they're, obviously they're not my boyfriend, but like I would just, even if they're a friend, like I would refer to them in that way.
As so-and-so boyfriend, yes. No, totally love that for us. Yeah. And it was a great way for us to compartmentalize, I think, during a time where we were like actively dating probably a lot of people. Yeah. And so just to keep everyone in their boxes and keep track, I think that was really helpful for us.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think like now that we're kind of out of that chaotic dating time frame, I think now we're more on this path of like, we're not going to go out of our way and go on a date and pursue someone unless we feel like it aligns with us. And that could mean energetically, that could mean financially, that could mean like there's a lot of different things that kind of go into this. But I just saw the other day someone talking about how like typically when you go into a first date, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this too, so I'll let you kind of like jump off of it. But when you go on a first date, I know for myself, it's hard to not feel like you need to go in and figure out if they check the arbitrary boxes. Like, are they good looking? Do they have a good job? Like, are they close with their family? Like, those are boxes that I know are important to us, right? That we are looking to understand if they check or not. And if they don't check it, then it's like, okay, well, then they probably don't align with me or they don't make sense for me.
Right.
But instead of so much worrying about that on a first date, I think we need to be more like tuning into the vibe. Like, do you connect with this person? Do your personalities vibe? Do they treat the wait staff nicely? Yes. Or are they aggressive?
Yeah.
Or are, like,
well, I think that's what's hard too is we came from a world of you're meeting people in person. We're in high school, we're in college, we're interacting with people on the daily. That's how you're meeting your relationships.
Yes.
So you're going off of a straight vibe. Obviously, you're attracted to them physically. You think that they're good looking. And you're going off of whatever, like the banter that you have and like the conversations that you have. Now, you're going off of a freaking online profile. And, brutal. Do I think that this photo is, has potential or not? Because men do not photograph well.
No,
Let's
never.
Be real.
Never.
And like, okay, this 3 exchange conversation that we're having over the Hinge app, is that enough for me to say, we would probably have who knows? It's so difficult. But I do agree, like, you walk in a place and you meet the person for the first time, you immediately can pick up on the vibe. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes the vibe in person doesn't match the vibe that was happening over text. Or
sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes over text it's bad and then in person it's better. And you're like, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised. But normally I find, like, I'm also trying to make, like, a square peg fit into a round hole. It's like, why do you, like, I feel compelled after I put in this time and effort to, like, go on this date with this person to, like, overexert myself and like overly put myself out there and talk like if they're not reciprocating or like matching that, then I'm overdoing it. And
you're
then
saying
I'm like,
after the first date.
No, I'm saying
on the first date.
Yeah, and it's like,
okay,
if this is not jiving, why am I even like? Why do I care? Like, I need to just like wrap it up.
I think that's a problem for us because we can talk to a wall. We can talk to a toad. So, like, we're going to have a good time on the date, right? I can just talk to myself for 2 hours and I'll have a good time.
But are you cultivating the good time?
Exactly.
Or are you collectively cultivating a good time?
That, I think, is a perpetual issue for people like us, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that.
Like, am I just really fucking cool and fun and awesome?
I think so.
Or are we together?
You all boring?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's a struggle.
It is.
And as Aunt Judy would say, Erica's Aunt Judy sent us both in a group text a screenshot of a quote, and it said, and I quote, "This dating pool definitely has pee in it."
Like,
it's awful.
She understands us to our core because, like, genuinely there's so many fish in the sea and, like, there's going to be someone out there for you. And, like, I think I do believe that you can meet your match. And, like, I don't know if I believe in, like, soulmates necessarily. But, like, someone that you can, like, establish a life with and build a life with. Like, I do think that everyone can find that person. However, it's looking really goddamn bleak right now. Like, I don't know what's going on in the water. I don't know what's going on in the air. I don't know.
It's
I
polluted.
don't know what we're smoking.
It's
but like,
the air is polluted. The ocean is polluted. Everything is polluted.
The dating pool is contaminated.
Yes. It's very rare to find the type of guys that we're looking for.
So what is it that we're looking for?
Yeah, let's discuss that.
Let's dive in.
I want a guy who is good looking.
I mean, that's, a no-brainer. And good looking is
but
different to everybody.
I was just going to say, that's also not straight across the board, right?
Yeah.
I can look at, like, all of the guys that I've dated. Half of them look very different from the other.
You have actually 0% type.
I know.
Like, I don't think Brooke has dated any, like, one does not look like the other. Like, none of them, to me.
There's, like, a couple that I feel like have a common theme throughout, though.
I don't think.
They're very sporadic.
They're sporadic. Some, I could, okay.
Yeah. But
for the most part,
no.
All across
but
the board.
The biggest thing for me, I would say, is confidence.
Yes.
That is what I go to in someone. If you're charismatic and you exude confidence, that's what I'm attracted to. So it doesn't really matter what you look like, because if you're confident, you're going to be attractive to me. You're going to be good looking to me. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah. I think too, someone who listens maybe more than they talk. Right? Because, like, you can be charismatic and you can put on, like, a really good first impression. I always joke about this, that I say this about myself. Like, I'm great at first impressions. Then you get to know me and then maybe I'm not your cup of tea. And that's okay. But, like, with this person that I'm interacting with, like, I want you to be actively, like, listening and engaged with me as much as, like, I am learning about you. And I feel like oftentimes people are just talking to talk about themselves because they're trying to get all the information out there and, like, for you to get to know them. But it's like, no, I want someone who's, like, an active listener and, like, is understanding what I'm saying, because that's important to me. Like, I just think that that's a quality that not a lot of people have nowadays because they're just very
I think that's fair.
Absorbed.
I think that's fair. I also do feel, though, you can go too far in that spectrum. Like, again, it's a fine line, but you can be too quiet. And then, you know, you feel like we both have big personalities. So it's like you need to have someone who at least
balances that.
Has a strong personality as well, because as much as we like to have control in our lives and we like to, you know, take charge of things in a relationship.
This is the one area that I don't want to have to do that.
No.
Exactly.
I want to, you know, I'm always the person who's like, whenever we do like a group trip or something, like, you know, both of us, we're booking the flights, we're booking the hotels, like we're walking through the airport. I have the boarding passes, like, for my family, you know, like when I'm with my husband.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I've seen women talk about that before. Like, they never in their life until they met, like, their husband or their fiance or their boyfriend, where they were like, I can shut my brain off now.
Yes.
Like, I don't have to constantly be, like, on high alert and thinking about every single thing, because it's like, they've got me. Mm-hmm. And there's other things that they have, right? Like, you have to find that happy medium with that person. But, like, to be able to do that is huge. And something that I think we're definitely looking for, so.
Totally. Another thing I am looking for in a partner is ambition. I want them to be ambitious in their career. I don't really care what the career is, but I want you to be successful and I want you to care about your success, because I'm that way. So I want us to be a team. So that's like...
So I'm going to make a distinction here, because I think that oftentimes this gets misconstrued for, well, I want someone who's really into their work that's making a lot of money. Yeah, of course I want you to be financially stable, right? Like, I want you to be comfortable. Do you, like, what I like... for you to be making more money than me. I don't know, maybe.
Listen, do we want the family trust fund? Do we want the yacht?
Sure.
Of course. Who doesn't want that?
Sure. I'd be completely naive to say that I wouldn't be opposed to those things, right?
Listen, put me on the Real Housewives of any city, and I would be happy.
I'll
right?
make you a lot of money, Bravo. I'll make you a lot of money.
You would be very entertaining.
We would be so entertaining.
Yeah.
Real Housewives of Barnegat. Don't think that's going to get approved. I don't think that's going to get the green light in 2025. But I think a huge distinction here is someone who has grit and good work ethic versus like someone who doesn't. Like, simply put, I think that speaks volumes because that will transcend into other areas of life outside of your actual career. And that to me is a quality trait that you can't teach someone.
I agree.
You either have it or you don't have it.
Totally agree. Because guess what? Whatever job they have when they meet you or when you meet them, vice versa, that might not be their job forever. They might lose their job. What are you going to do? Are they going to get back up on their feet and work to find a new job? Or are they just going to be complacent and let you take, right? Like, those are the qualities that we want to have in a husband.
Absolutely.
Like, regardless of what your job is,
So,
I want you to
probably
provide.
like not the guy working in the Lowe's paint section, right?
No. Absolutely not.
Sorry, guys. Like, I can't.
So,
I can't.
for some context, we're going to circle back to
We
a
have to.
funny story that happened to us recently when we went out on the town. We went out for some drinks
we
and
have
dinner.
good aura. Like, let's maybe start
Yeah.
there. Like, we have, I think, very good aura when we go out that is, like, attractive. And not necessarily, like, from a male looking at us and being like, oh, I want to talk to that, like, those girls. It's just, like, I think people in general, bartenders and girls and guys alike are all like, oh,
Parents,
no, like, those,
even, like,
oh, my God.
anyone.
Yeah, the old folk, I mean, please.
Yeah.
We're
I mean,
just,
we
like,
probably spend more time talking to the adults than actually people our age
1,000%.
when we're out. But, yeah. So
we get approached often.
Right. Exactly. Thank you for
Set
that
the
context.
stage. Set the stage.
So we're sitting at like a restaurant bar. It's a small restaurant, small bar. We're literally just sitting there by ourselves, having a cocktail.
It's not like crazy vibes. Like, we've got some music starting to bump.
Yeah.
People are still eating food.
Right.
Yes.
So we see like one cute guy in the whole place. And then
One single
singular
man.
Just one. And who comes up to us? Not him.
But he was with the crew.
Yes. Two guys who, they were like balding and like turning gray. Meanwhile, we're 25 years old.
They
26
literally
years old.
moved the pothole, like what's it called? The manhole.
The manhole.
Over from the sidewalk and crawled out. That's
Yes.
what they did.
Came up to us, and they were on
They were on one.
two totally different ends of the spectrum. My guy was talking a million miles a minute, way too direct, and Erica's was a sloth.
Absolutely took 13 minutes to get a sentence out, and I was having a hard time
Unreal.
conversing.
Bottom line, the most painful 5 minutes of our lives. But for context, the guy who was talking to me was asking several questions. You know, what do you do for work? One of them, I say, I'm in medical sales. What do you do? He says, it was like audible to me. I'm like, what? He's like, oh, I'm in the painting department. I'm like, huh? What? What is that?
It was loud in there.
He goes again. The painting department at Lowe's.
I mean, go off, King. Like, listen.
Okay, and also,
Go off,
let me
but-
put on one other layer of context that would have been helpful. 35 years old.
Yeah, these are not like young 20-year-olds that are getting on their feet and getting established. Like, I'm
Listen.
having a hard time with that one.
Listen, and you know what? I respect the hustle.
I do.
Good for you.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just, it doesn't seem like a hustle to me. And that's not my path.
That's
I'm
not my journey.
You know, we're out here hustling day in, day out.
Not my
I
journey.
don't think you're really hustling the painting section at Lowe's, and that's great for you, but it's not really going to work for me.
No, I'll go get my paint at Home Depot instead.
Right. So we ran to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Literally
it was abort mission. Abort. Literally SOS, turn the red lights on. Like,
oh my God.
Had to get out.
We had one glance,
Yeah.
and we're like, we need to go. Go to the bathroom. We run out of this establishment.
And also, don't fucking touch me. They were very touchy.
my
And I was
God.
like, at one point, he goes, it's my birthday. Can you guys give me a kiss? Did you black that out of your memory?
I
Because I didn't.
I actually erased that from the memory.
No, like, so this is the shit that happens
and
to
also,
us, right?
like,
It's like
our backs were to them. Like, we're sitting at the bar, right? They came up behind us. Like,
Yeah.
our body language was giving, we're not interested.
Yeah.
No. We're just gonna push forward. We're just gonna tell you how beautiful you are and how attracted to you we are.
Which is great, but I just feel like let's get some, like, awareness of the language that we're giving off, and the language is giving, get the fuck away from me immediately.
Yeah. And this goes
Even the bartender was like, are you guys okay? And we were like, do I look okay?
And
Is
not
this
to
not the face
mention-
of someone who looks okay?
No. And not to mention the guy who was also standing way too close to me, so close that I could smell the beer on his breath. On the other side. This is another guy.
Personal space.
So, needless to say, that bar that night, not really great for us.
Win some and lose some.
We win some, we lose some. And that night also brought to our attention the fact that we need to stop feeling bad about showing our disinterest in someone. Like, why are we sitting there entertaining a conversation with someone that I'm like, oh my God, get the fuck away from me?
Yeah.
Like,
I
why
wanna
do I
give
feel
people
bad?
a fair chance, but it's like, again, with the way they were being overly aggressive,
was
it's
like-
I shouldn't have to deal with you right now.
Yeah.
I'm here. I had no intention of going outside to even talk to men. Like, we're having a girls' night, number one, which
Exactly.
he brought up later on in
my
the night.
God, I
But he
can't.
was like, well, you just looked like you were hanging out with your friend, and I didn't want to no, you're fucking annoying me. Get away from me.
Like,
Get
pick
a hand.
up on the cues.
Pick up on the cues.
It's not that, well, yes, we always want to hang out with each other, but we also just don't want to hang out with you. We're not interested. When we left the bar in 5 minutes, don't approach us at the next bar that you see us at. When we tried to avoid your
Remove
presence.
yourself from my line of sight. Just, that's it. That's all you need to do.
So that's a fun story.
One of the many. One of the many. But that's just most recent.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I could tell another
hear it.
fun approaching story.
Erica has zero memory.
Erica
to recollect on.
Erica
so.
never has memory, so it's fine. I'm happy to remind you, but I don't know if you were there during this occasion, so I'm going to tell the story, and I don't know if I told it to you before or not.
Let's hear it.
So I was at Bird and Betty's in the summer. I don't think I was with you. I think I was with Alexa.
Okay.
And we're standing like by the balcony overlooking the mosh pit, and some guy approaches me and is like, oh, would you mind taking a photo of me and my friends to send to my dad? I'm like, oh, sad, sure, okay. So, you know,
you're an idiot.
I'm a sucker. And I love taking a photo for people, you know.
Right.
So I'm like,
Brooke's
of course.
photographer.
Yeah. So I'm like, got the flash going off in the bar and the whole thing. And I give him back the phone. I'm like, just check them, make sure they're good. And he said, oh, they're great. The only thing missing is your phone number. I'm like, shut
that was
up.
kind of smooth.
No, okay. That was my first impression as well. I'm like, you know what? Go off. Okay. But then the conversation happens.
Oh,
so
here it goes. Takes a turn.
How long are you here? Right? Because we're in Beach Haven, Long Beach Island.
Which is typically like a summer home destination spot. Like,
right. People
not
vacation there, all that.
year-round
Obviously,
people there.
we're local. So he goes, how long are you here? I said, I live here. And he goes, oh, cool. Like, I have, you know, a house for the week, or I don't know, whatever he said.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Immediately press play on the brokered record. How long are you here? I said, I just told you
So we're
I
blacked
live
out?
here. Right. So then, whatever. Then he offers to buy me a drink. I said, okay, sure. At least you'll buy me something out
We
of this
rarely ever
altercation,
pass
right?
up
No, you have to.
drink.
So he gets me a drink. I go up. I immediately order one for my friend as well. And then he comes up. I'm already ordering the drinks because he walks up to the bar and says, how am I going to get a drink? Like, okay. Are we okay?
Like, I know it's crowded, but we can figure it out.
No, he's just like inept. So I'm like, okay, I'll order the drinks. I order one automatically for my friend. I'm like, yeah, you're done. So whatever, we get the drinks, and then they're all actually Alexa has them all snowed that she worked for the Eagles. Don't even because they were.
She always has some lore that she pulls out of her ass.
They asked her like what she did, and she said like she was in grad school, I think, and then they asked her again because they're all mentally unwell.
Brain dead.
And so she goes, oh, I work for the Eagles. And she goes on this whole bit for like a solid amount of time.
I love her for that.
Oh my God, it was amazing. But anyway, so the conversation fades because they were just duds.
Could not converse.
And, you know, we end the conversation with them. They take not even 3 steps. And this guy, I hear him, see him approach another girl with the same story. Hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends to send to my dad?
I mean, at least he had a plan. He was organized, he was repetitive, he was executing, but then he was not following through.
He was a broken record. Like
I
literally,
can't.
I was like, wow, I thought that was creative. And you didn't even take 5 steps. Like I literally watched the whole thing go
Thing
down.
transpired part 2. Well, listen.
I thought that was hilarious though.
He started out
He
strong.
did.
And it really fell through the cracks.
Plummeted.
But that's
Absolutely
okay.
plummeted.
That's okay.
Yeah. But I feel like that's right in line with like everyone that we meet in this area because it's like, oh, like I have a beach house.
That doesn't fucking
Am I impressed?
me.
No, why are we leading with that? Like that I feel like is our friggin' issue with these people.
I just saw like a clip of, I think it was Khloe Kardashian, and in the clip they were recording her, like it looked like a confessional or like something from their show, and there was a loud car roaring in the background, like on the street, and she like stopped the interview and was like staring into the abyss, and she's like, I don't care what you have, how much money you make, how attractive you are. If you have a loud vehicle like that, you're immediately done. Immediately no. Immediately no. Get away from me. That is the biggest turnoff in the world. So I feel like this kind of coincides, right? Because there's things that guys try to like flex on you and be like, oh, I have this, or I do this, or
I don't care.
It's not impressive. It's not going to impress me.
If you're not like a charismatic person, if you're not a good person, if you don't have other things that are interesting to you, like, you know, whatever you have, that's fine. Anything is just a bonus, right? You like the person for who they are, not for what they have. So that's what ticks me off. Again, not that we're not materialistic, let's be real. Okay, but like we work for what we have. So to me, for you to come out bragging about some beach house that like you know damn well is your parents, it's not impressive to me. It's just not.
Agreed. No, I think that honestly, when the next time AC, we share the same nail lady. Oh my God, I can't get that out. We share the same nail lady, and literally every time, at least once every other time I'm in there, she's asking me if I have a boyfriend or like what's going on in the dating life. And I'm just like, this is why. This is the shit that we're dealing with. This is the struggles that I'm facing. I could go to planet Mars. And it's going to be probably the same problems. You know, where Brooke has her second residence.
I find the same problems when I'm at my Mars home. There's no earthlings that are valid for our taste.
Next time she questions me, I'm literally going to freak out.
AC never questions me, so like, what does that say about me?
I
don't know. But I have another nail lady, so I go to a different place for my toes because I just like their pedicure better.
Yes.
It's just more relaxing, more glamorous.
High maintenance.
Yeah. I won't deny that. But I'm sitting down, and it's normally I go with my mom, but I went by myself. And she also asked me, oh, you know, we're talking about my age.
Did you say you have really fat toes? That's probably why you don't have a boyfriend?
No. She's like, oh, you know. Yeah. I always think that they're talking about my toes in like whatever language.
Yeah, because they're probably saying, what is this deformity on your foot?
Actually, the last time I was there, I asked them if I could get like tips on my toes. I swear. No, and they brought over another guy, and they're looking at my.
Don't do that.
I was curious. My mom was like, "Why don't you ask them?" Like, because I'm not gonna get into the details of my toes, but they're just like so.
I'm sorry.
They're so atrocious. But yeah, long story short, they said no, that would make your problem worse, and I said thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
But anyway, she also asked me if I was dating anyone, and I said no, and then she proceeded to tell me like this absolute horror story about her daughter and how she was married and cheated on and like all these things, and I was like, oh my God, so you are actually like proving my point, helping my case of like why I'm single. So she's like, I get it, girl. Like, and we were having a full gossip sesh. So
yeah,
the nail ladies, no.
I think this rings true, and we've always said this. I would rather be alone than feel alone in a bad relationship.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a testament to how we are in relationships. Like, I feel like we reflected on this recently, but we are long-term thinkers. We are inherently long-term thinkers. We can't help it. So, like, where other people will just go off of, like, this feeling that they have of, like, oh, I'm really happy right now, and, like, this serves me well right now, and, you know, they don't really think too far into the future. We don't have that in our body. I sometimes wish that we did because I think it would be easier.
I was a little bit more ignorant than I am, or like a little bit more short-sighted, because then I wouldn't have worries like I do about multiple areas of life, not just dating, right?
It spills into everything.
But I also feel like I don't know, there's like this weird combination of, I feel like pressure has been alleviated from our generation of like getting married, starting a family at a really young age, but also still feeling like society is telling me that that's where my value lies. And it's like, it doesn't. It's not where it lies. There's so many other things that women are doing now that like,
Yep.
you know, celebrating promotions and celebrating all these other big achievements that are happening in life versus just like getting married and, you know, having the baby shower. And oh my God, I'll tell this really quick story because this actually sent me into orbit. And my mom was more pissed off than I was because it didn't fully click in my head when it was like happening. But I was buying household goods. Like I'm starting to acquire stuff for an apartment, you know, when I do eventually move out. And we were in Costco. This woman saw me buying like pots and pans and a bunch of shit in this home goods aisle. And it was like, oh my God, these are like a really great price, but it just everything in my cart is so expensive. I had, you know, a lot of different kitchen stuff, and like plates were $80. I'm like, the fuck? It's a fucking plate.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna go fucking do ceramic plates myself at this point. I'm done with this shit.
We'll throw them.
At this point, so she's sitting there and we strike up conversation, and I'm like, she's like, oh, like, you know, whatever I'm buying for Christmas gifts. I said, I'm buying for myself because I need it because I am starting from scratch with things. And she goes, well, honey, you just got to have a bridal shower. And I was like,
what
so
makes you think that that's the only reason why you need things to move out on, like,
yeah,
what?
so back in 1980 and 1970, yeah, that's what women did. They didn't ever really live on their own. They went right from their childhood homes.
Right.
Was my mom. She went right from her childhood home.
Yeah.
Went right into living with, you know, who she got married to. And it's like
same with my
but
mom too.
That's not reality
so
anymore.
Outdated. But it's
So
also
outdated.
like, even if you're moving in with a significant other, you're normal. Like now, the norm is you're moving in before you're married, maybe even before you're engaged.
Totally.
So you're not relying on.
You want to make sure that you can live together with this person,
right?
Whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But.
Oh my God, never forget. I think I came home from college or something, and we're talking. My grandpa was over, and this topic of conversation was happening of like, oh yeah, you living with someone before you're engaged or married or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely living with someone before, you know, I marry them. Like I need to, you know, understand how we live together before I do that. And my mom shoots me a look. And I'm like, oh, I mean the opposite. I meant to say the opposite. Like, absolutely not gonna live with my significant other before my.
Oh,
like,
Grandpa.
Oh, Grandpa, sorry, I didn't want to give you a heart attack.
No, seriously, because that's like the antiquated, unfortunately, way of thinking. And like previous generations, that's what they did. Like it's not how it is now.
But it's also people were getting married so much earlier. People got married when they were freaking 19.
No wonder the divorce rate's over 50%. I think I just pulled that stat out of my ass.
Yeah, that was fake news. But honestly,
it's close to 50. It's not quite there. I think it's like hovering
around that range.
If I just
poll the people that I know, I would say it's probably 50. But
yeah,
I feel like the people who got married very, very early were like mostly fine. But like I feel like in your 20s, when the people who got married like too early in their 20s, you're seeing like this whole cycle of, you know, like 30-year-old women now
getting divorced.
Who are divorced. Yeah. And it's like now I feel like we are learning from that of like, take the pressure off. Why? And I would say we're okay with it now. Like, yes, we're joking about how horrible it is dating and like all these things.
Like, part of me or part of us, I think, feel grateful that we like have this opportunity to enjoy this time in our life that we're never going to get this period of time back. We always say that, right? Like this time to be selfish. Truly selfish. We don't have anyone else to worry about, of course, family members, right? But we don't have any people who are dependent on us, like a significant other or a child or, you know, something like that. Even we don't have pets. So like we're truly riding solo right now. And I love that. And I've really taken a lot of pride in that recently because I've noticed family has backed off asking the questions of like, are you talking to anyone new? Or because I talk about so many other interesting things about me that's no longer the primary thing that comes to mind when they say, oh, how's Erika doing? And that to me is like a win. And I've really been trying to like change my way of thinking on that for a long time now. I feel like I'm finally in a place where I could do that.
No, I agree. And I feel like for me, more of the questions are like, well, of course you always get the, oh, how are you still single?
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's such a stupid fucking question.
If you had anyone remotely our age that was single, you would understand. Like if you had a child our age, you would understand. Yeah. But whatever. it's
you're
meant.
so pretty. Oh, you have such a good job. I don't understand.
And it's meant as a compliment. I get it, but it's like
not,
backhanded,
though.
and like at this point we've heard it so many
what's
freaking
wrong
times.
with you then? That
Yeah,
because on paper you look great, but then there must be something wrong.
Exactly.
Fuck off, Joni.
Like freaking Aunt Joni, I can't with her.
She's always nagging on us,
literally
constantly.
ragging on our shit.
I can't.
But I feel like a lot more people in my life, again, that I value and are close to me,
Yeah.
in tandem with saying, oh, are you seeing anyone new or anything like that? It's more phrased that way. And then they're like, oh, well, I actually have so-and-so I think maybe you would, hit it off with or whatever. Or like, I'm going to keep my eye out. Just things like that. I appreciate, because I think now they're starting to understand the difficulty and like
and trying to make it
landscape
more like organic, right?
Yes.
I think, there's been this heavy, focus on dating apps and like pumping out another date, like just to say like you're going on dates. But it's like, are they good quality? Are you really connecting with people who align to you? Like, definitely not. That algorithm is so fucked left, right, center. It is not good. Like,
No.
the people that it's populating for me, I'm like feeling queasy. I'm not feeling good about it.
I'm not feeling good about it either. One of the most recent people.
I have never, to preface, ever in my entire time on this app, which has been several years, ever heard of this happening.
Yeah.
Proceed.
So, most recently, in this past week, I get a notification. I'm on Hinge, right? We're both on Hinge. It's like kind of the app that most people use.
We'll take you through our full profiles, and maybe you can help us figure out why we're attracting literally dingbats on the application.
Dingbats, as Abby Lee would say. But so one of my most recent Hinge matches, I get an email saying, your Hinge match has been removed from Hinge due to fraudulent activity. Is this catfish? Are we getting even here? Get them in.
Oh my god, I remember that show.
Yeah, I loved that show.
Was
it
that
was
on?
so good.
What was that
MTV.
on? MTV.
So good. But but I got not one, not two, 4 email alerts about this.
Know.
4.
What was he doing to women? Like, I'm actually scared.
I don't know. Because, like, for that to happen, he has to be reported. Like, people have to go on there and be like, this guy's pretending to be someone that he's not. Like,
or
you know what I mean?
He just did something terrible to them. Like, one or the other.
I don't want to know that.
No, that makes me actually scared.
Yeah.
But are we not setting the scene for you people?
It's horrible.
Is this just not bringing it full circle for you to understand and comprehend?
Insane.
If you are not single right now, the trenches we are in.
Oh my God. If you're not single right now, just take a moment of silence for you.
Hold space for it. Hold space for us single motherfuckers out here, because it's rough.
It's rough out here. Be thankful for your non-singleness. But if you're not happy in your non-singleness, then talk to us. We are very good advice givers.
Fun. We're having fun regardless.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is I think we were starting to say this, but we're a lot more comfortable in our singleness at this point because we have taken our energy and put it into the rest of our life, like our family, our friends, our work. Our careers are booming. We're doing great. So, yes, we're missing that one thing, but who isn't missing that one thing, right?
No one has it all. You actually, I could go on a tangent about this, but you can not have it all.
You can't.
There's always something that has to give. And unfortunately, we're at this point in our lives where we can really excel in these other areas because we don't have that other person to worry about. And that's kind of what I was saying. Like, it's a really cool time for us, though, that we have that ability to do that now.
And I think it's like, it really helps us in our day-to-day because I think about it. If I had someone that, again, not that it's a negative. Of course, you know, when we have significant others, they will add to our lives and it'll be great.
Well, that's the key. Someone that adds and doesn't take away. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the
past
hobo billies we've been dealing with over the last several years definitely tend to suck the life out of us.
Yeah, well, again, because I think we thought that we could just like fix everyone. Like,
we are
it's
not.
Okay.
We are not Bob the Builder.
We are not the genie with the lamp who can magically grant your 3 wishes.
We cannot. We might look like it, but we are not.
No. So we've come to terms with like what we are looking for in a partner because partner is the word. We want someone who's like in it with us, and we're going to build a life together.
Yeah.
And we've already started building our life because we want to be like the best version of us when we meet like our person.
Absolutely. And so I think as we're kind of, unfortunately, in the latter part of our 20s now, or at least I am, right?
I'm
you're
right
nearing
in
it.
the mid still. I'm going to hold on to
You're
that
nearing
mid.
it. I think what's important, and we alluded to this in the beginning, is like, you got to leave what's in the past in the past. There's a reason why it's there. Don't drag it back up.
Don't listen to the Hallmark movies, every
Don't.
single rom-com. Listen, if you need a movie and you're feeling vulnerable, watch The Breakup. I'm not going to say anything about the ending. Watch The Breakup.
No spoilers.
Watch My Best Friend's Wedding. Those are like my two
Yes.
go-tos. Watch those movies. Highly recommend. They're still, you feel good at the end, but it's real life. And that's what more things, even La La Land. Love that movie. It's a musical. I'm waiting for it to be made into like a Broadway musical.
I'm not really like a musical gal.
I know, but like again, it's like just to me, it's real. It's real world, and that's what I love about it.
You did explain it to me recently, and guess what?
Yeah.
Completely has escaped my mind.
Yeah, you totally
I
just
can't hold
blocked
space
it
for that.
out. No. Still need to get you to see Wicked. We will do that. You do like it. We saw it on Broadway.
I saw the play. Yeah, I saw the play,
so
but I just haven't seen the movie.
Been so busy.
I am an Ariana stan though, so.
Oh my God, we love Ariana. Ariana, please go on tour. Oh my God.
She's been like working on this for actually an eternity, so maybe when she's done, she can like take a little Bora Bora vacation.
Yeah, for real.
And then come back and
I think she's gonna do Broadway, honestly, which I am.
Is because she's dating SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, stop. I can't even with that.
It's sick.
Ariana, talk to us, please.
Like, we need to give her some advice of like,
God,
let's stop breaking up marriages and not doing it for an actual SpongeBob SquarePants real life actor.
Yeah, I'm
Musical
sorry,
theater
Bach.
geek.
I'm sorry, Bach.
That's his name.
Well, in the movie, in the play, that's the character that he plays. I don't know his real name. I don't really care, to be honest. But I do think that Ariana is going to come to Broadway. Idina and Kristen Chenoweth are already coming back to Broadway in January. I want to go see it. Luckily, we're so close to New York, so we can just hop over there and
like a plan.
do that.
Yes.
Because we go on dates with each other.
I know. Well, I was
going to
say
our
this.
bestie dates.
We go on our bestie dates, but we need to start like putting ourselves out there more.
We do.
Like,
I know.
we need to
it's hard.
Naturally. Like, I don't mean on Hinge. I don't mean like on the apps. I mean like when we are out and when we are doing things. Like, just like naturally. Maybe we go up to guys, or maybe like we don't need to be aggressive and go out of our way and like be weird, but I think just like striking up conversation with people that
I think that wouldn't hurt.
Sometimes that's uncomfortable or feels awkward, but like put yourself out there because who cares if you look like a fool? You're probably never going to see them again. So what does it matter? Like, I don't know, just make like a good impression on people, and if nothing else, you walk away with with a funny memory, or a good interaction.
Have no shame, no regrets.
No shame in the game.
I mean, what do we have to lose? We're in our 20s. This is the time for experimentation and fun memories. So, like,
take the pressure off. And that's it.
Because it's just not that serious. Thanks for listening to our dating horror stories.
We will keep you abreast of the situations going on in the near future.
Oh, yes. We will keep you in the loop.
Absolutely.
But have a good rest of your week.
We'll chat with you
next week.
Bye. Guys.